What exactly do you do? You're a spirit medium, so
Yep.
you communicate with people that have passed.
Correct. I also I do angel kisses shows, and that is a gallery style or group reading style. And I travel around doing different shows at, in different locations. I do private readings. I do Reiki. I'm a mom. I do lots of stuff.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the gallery style readings, because I know, for instance, when I do gallery style readings as well, people always ask me, what is a gallery style reading? And it's something so common in the field that we're in as far as gallery style. It's basically one big room of how many people. It depends on what the facility holds. And you basically go around and go where spirit draws you to go.
Yep.
So do you think you do primarily the gallery style readings, or does it differ for you?
I think it's 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing private readings. I do a lot of over the phone readings throughout the United States and Australia, New Zealand. I actually just got a request for Egypt, which I was really excited about, and I actually called my assistant and I was like, that's like really long distance. So yeah, I do all kinds
That's
of stuff.
amazing. Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt.
I don't even know what I would do if someone called me from Egypt. I think that would be amazing.
Well, I haven't had the reading yet. She called and inquired, so I'll let you know as soon as I have it.
So the name of your gallery style readings, it's Angel Kisses.
Correct.
Is there a reason why you named it Angel Kisses?
I did. I named it after my son Zachary, he passed away 22 months ago. See, I'm doing the now. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. It's a filler. It's over, like I said, it's a nervous twitch.
It is, because I started talking about Zachary. I named it after my son Zachary, who recently passed away.
All right. Now, I'm sure you get this question a lot, since you are a spirit medium and you work a ton with bereaved parents.
Yeah.
So the question I'm going to ask you is, did you start doing the mediumship after your son had passed?
No.
Or, okay.
It was well before, and yes, I would say that's the #1 question was, did this just happen after your son? And then the second question is, do you communicate with your son? So I will answer both. So no, it started when I was 3. As far as me communicating with my son, I do communicate with him. However, I don't trust it for myself. I don't think that we're supposed to read for ourselves. I think that's why we have friends that are mediums to help us through that. I do connect for my husband, and Zachary will come through with very validating information for him. And to be honest with you, I can't even do it face to face. I text him because I get nervous. It's so close to home.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is something. Being a parent that's lost a child, being a medium, we do tend to be objective of ourselves in general. So when your other half, he or she, depending, they're still in loss of a child as well. So I think that's amazing that you're able to connect Zachary with your husband.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm not going to lie. My ego definitely jumps in, and because I know I'm there. So I'm kind of like, it's definitely challenging, but exciting, and there's a lot of emotions that go along with it.
Now, what's your husband's take on it, as far as when he receives messages from you, especially in the beginning?
He's very, very emotional about it. He has told me how grateful he is for me not only giving him our child, but also keeping him connected to him. So he's
a lucky guy.
No, I'm a lucky girl.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, so.
Great.
Yeah.
So now, do you think that let me ask you this, were you actually being out with being a medium prior? Like, all your life, have you been out being a medium, in the sense of giving the private readings and doing the gallery readings? And I know with Steph's also had this all of her life as well. But we just in general, just so you guys know, we're all born with this. We all can, everybody can do this. It's just whether we choose to tune in or not. So
I don't think that I really tuned in until I was older and acknowledged it and decided this was my path and this was the way I was supposed to go with my path. Yeah. Not that I was supposed to go. So yeah, I was older, and just to back up a little bit, my brother unexpectedly passed away, my only sibling, and that really opened a lot of just Pandora's box for me, and I followed that path after him, and I didn't care as much about what people knew about me and what they thought as far as this goes.
Right.
So I was working and everything, and then my son Zachary, he was 11, he unexpectedly passed in his sleep. He was healthy, athletic, and then after something like that happens, I think you completely change, and you've already had the worst day of your life, so what bring it on. Right. I didn't care. I just knew that I wanted to help people, and that was the way I was going.
That was your life's path.
That's it. And that's what I've been doing since.
And you've been very, very busy. I've been on your website, and it's event after event, sold out, sold out, sold out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I work with a lot of bereaved parents because I definitely can relate to them. I get it. I am one. And I love working with them, and I love working with everyone. There's obviously an affinity between us, or a kinship that we share. So, that is a huge part of my clientele, but yeah, I love all of the kids. I feel like they just have connected us all, and it's like every child has been to my home for dinner. I can tell you, honestly, I can't do this with everyone that I read, and all of the grandparents and siblings and husbands and wives that I've connected with. But children, I can tell you all of them, because they just stay present with me in many different ways. Sometimes for a few days, they like to hang around, but I don't mind that. And I know some people, it will scare them, even as mediums, when they have a little child around them, and I just embrace it, and I love it, I love it, I love it. It fills my heart.
Now, let me ask you this on a little bit of a paranormal question for you. I know in the paranormal field, children tend to be a little bit mischievous. So do you ever notice anything going on in your house, like maybe lights flickering or like constantly changing the remote control batteries, or, objects being moved in different locations, like misplaced keys?
Tiffany, that is the story of my life. Yeah. Literally, I actually had blogged about this because I believe it was over maybe 2 weeks. I had blown out 5 light bulbs, or somehow 5 light bulbs had blown out. Yeah, there's always something going on in my house. My son, he's 15, my oldest son, and he'll be upstairs going, "Mom, my amp is going on and off," and I'll yell, "Just unplug it," and he'll yell back down, "I already did." So there's always some kind of mayhem going on there, but I like it. It doesn't bother me.
It must be comforting. It must feel comforting because you know where it's coming from. It's not like you're going in there with a sense of, I don't want to go into my house. I don't know who it is.
If anything, I'm a homebody now.
It's all about connecting.
Yeah, I love it.
And also, just so you guys know, we do have a live chat room. So if you have any questions, Steph, do you have any questions yet so far? Oh, we do. Okay. So throughout the show, we're going to be asking Nicole certain questions as far as what's going on in her world, and you can open it up to anything and everything with her. So go ahead, Steph, if you...
Okay. The first question is, has Nicole ever received a spirit connection while performing Reiki?
Yes, actually, that was kind of how I opened up more while working on a client. I say patient because I'm actually a nurse by trade. But while with a patient or a client, I was doing Reiki and I was connecting with their loved one, and when I decided to just tell them, they were so happy and excited, and it made me happy. I love when people get happy and excited and they just feel that feeling, and then it just fills me. So yes, I have.
Do you feel that doing Reiki enhances your abilities?
Absolutely, in many, many ways.
That's awesome.
I find that a lot of people feel more grounded after they have had an attunement. I feel that they find that they're just more balanced in general. I don't know why, I have no rhyme or reason to this, but I definitely feel that, and I feel that they also just, all of a sudden it's like this, they just open.
Calmness.
Yeah, and then they just open. And they're, you know, saying different things and that have happened.
Just a personal question, because you had mentioned that you're a nurse by trade. Do you use the Reiki while being a nurse?
I actually don't.
Work?
I hold my license. I don't actually work as a nurse. I do this full time.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to do that full time.
Yeah.
Isn't it, Steph?
It's
Steph
like
and
a
I talk
goal.
about this. Yeah.
Yeah. You
will. Yeah, we're kind of a little team.
We do. But I had asked, because my mom's a nurse, so she had gotten her Reiki 1 and her Reiki 2 to be together at the same time doing Reiki, because she used to take care of a lot of end-stage cancer patients and stuff.
That's
so
exactly.
That's why she started it. So
I often donate free Reiki to cancer patients because they find such relief from it. And I've met some amazing people that have touched my heart through that.
It's an
but
awesome
absolutely,
thing.
it is.
That's all the questions for now.
Okay.
I'll stop taking up time.
Well, no, and I was going to say, too, as a healer, I think we're just prone to wanting to help at all times. You know, even in personal relationships, I feel like a lot of times people will come to me for the answers, whether it's psychic or not. You know, I think it's just we give off that energy, which is great.
Exude it, and then they just kind of flock to us.
Excuse me, and I love it. I absolutely love having that, you know.
We have a couple more, because I opened it up a little bit. But sorry. Let me just find it, because I didn't even have a chance to write it, because they came in so quick. They would like to know, does she ever channel specific entities?
Can you be a little bit more specific? Such as if you were a bereaved parent and you wanted your child to come through? Or
I could see that, possibly. They haven't elaborated yet, so it's hard for me to say for them, but maybe they're listening. We'll take the next question while we're waiting for that.
Okay.
I'll just let them know. Does Nicole do house parties or private or gallery readings?
All of the above.
And she does have all, I don't know, hopefully we'll get it up, but do you want to say your website so people can look?
Oh, sure. And actually it's in the process of getting completely revamped, which I'm really, really excited about. But my old one is still up and it's current, even though it's old. It is www.Necole, Necole, Stephens, STEPHENS.com.
Or StepGens, which
Like what?
I was putting up the post.
Just don't read Tiffany's post.
Yeah, don't. Exactly.
I'm at StepGens.
Nicole Stephens is going to be on the show tonight, so.
You said Steph, and I was like, me, was I supposed to be paying
No,
attention?
it's the autocorrect. I was
And it said Nicole Stephens.
You gotta love iPhone.
Nicole Stephens. That's it.
Call me whatever you'd like.
They elaborated on their question saying, no, is there a higher entity that wants to work with you to share messages of wisdom to the masses?
I work with my guides and my higher self, but I definitely work with my guides often, and I trust them, and my messages come through them. So I definitely work with my guides.
We have a ton of questions coming in all at once, so I don't even have a chance to write them down. But
Go, Steph, go.
Right off of that question, they want to know, is one of her guides the Holy Mother by chance?
Well, I do have a woman. I don't.
You don't know if she's the Holy Mother or not, but
I
you
mean,
do go to her.
Yes, she is a woman. She is older, and I do go to her. So
whether she's the Holy Mother or not, it's the woman she goes to.
That's right.
Sorry to answer your question.
no, but you answered that better.
I just feel like I was in your head for a moment. I'm sorry.
Good.
I know.
That's so strange for someone like that.
It's
love
just
that.
really weird.
How did she first realize she was in tune with this ability?
I was 3 and I saw a man in my room. My grandmother and my great-grandmother are also psychic, and to be quite honest, they're very old school Italian, and they told me what I was seeing and feeling was real. However, to be quiet because people would think I was a witch. And to this day, my Nana will still say, I'm having a premonition, and she'll tell you whatever it is, and she is always right. If Nana tells you a premonition, you listen, and that's it, that. But if I tell her something, just be careful who you tell. Just don't say anything. I'm like, Nana, what do you mean? And then she was talking about my brochures. And by the way, you look terrible on that thing. And I'm like, what do you mean? You look so bloated. What is that? You need a new picture. I'm like, all right, Nana, I'm going home.
All right.
When she does, now you have me do an now too.
We're all going to do it.
When she does Reiki, do any ascended masters come in to help?
Not really for me.
Well, I don't feel like you use them.
I don't. Yeah, I don't for that. I don't for Reiki.
The question that was about the Holy Mother, they were saying that they were speaking of Mary, the Holy Mother.
Right.
They were apologizing for not being more specific.
No, I knew
So-
that. I actually knew that that's
Yep.
what they were referring to.
That
Thank
was Todd.
you.
So Todd's watching tonight.
Oh, good.
Thanks, Todd.
So I think that's it for right now, but it doesn't mean in 5 minutes there's not going to be 15
I
more,
know.
so-
I know.
I tried.
Well, sorry. Sorry about that. But I wanted to also ask you about your nonprofit organization. So is that part of Angel Kisses, or is it
No.
separate?
I do fundraisers for that, but
Okay.
they are two separate, businesses. After my son had passed away, he had always wanted to build a stadium in his name. So about I would say 3 weeks after, I had told my husband that we were going to build a stadium. And he said, okay, he has a tendency to do this with me. Okay, dear, with a lot of the things that I do. And he just said, okay. And I said, no, I'm really serious. I'm going to build a stadium. Zachary wanted to build a stadium. And there's actually a whole backstory to this about how he had just made a plate, and it says Hudson Litchfield Bears, Zach Stadium. So he had just made this right before he had passed. We had just picked it up. And I was actually speaking to someone about building a stadium, not remembering the plate, because like most moms, I picked up the plate and he said, look at it. And I said, oh, that's great, I love it. And we got in the car and we were rushing. And so my husband came down the stairs and he said, where's that plate Zachary made? And I said, I don't know. And he said, where's the plate? I want to see the plate. And I looked for it, and then when I found it and I was staring at it, and it said Hudson Litchfield Bears, Zach Stadium, home of the Bears. So I decided to build a stadium. So I started a nonprofit 501(c), and it was about in April of 2010. My son passed in March. This is in April. And we have raised, since that time, I want to say close to $300,000.
Wow.
We have also got in 13 acres of land donated by the town. We are, still working on the land, and we have a long ways to go, but it will happen.
Of course, power of intent. This is what I tell everybody all the time. Is you use the power of intent, and
I use the power of Zachary. I feel like I'm his facilitator. So. We definitely have a
amazing.
wonderful community, and they have been very, very supportive. And I feel that's a true testament of Zachary and what he represented, and which was sportsmanship and kindness, and he actually got the most Christ-like award right before his passing, and since they have renamed it after him. So I'm really excited to cut that ribbon one day.
Now, is there a way of donating, or like for our viewers could? Of
course, we have lots of all different fundraisers, but you can check out his website. It's www.zachary ZACHARY Tompkins TOMPKINS.org.
Which I'm sure there's a link that on your website.
Yes, there's also a link on my website.
In which I'll be posting it as well. If you guys go to my Spirit Medium Tiffany page and like it, I have your information, so I can always post. So if for the viewers that are unfamiliar, which I'm sure we have a ton of your viewers watching tonight, so feel free to just go to my page and I can send you in the right direction too.
Yay.
So wow, you have a lot going on. You have a lot going on.
I try to stay busy, it helps.
And I mean, you're a mom too.
Yeah.
So not only are you helping all these other parents out and family members out and doing the gallery readings and the private readings, and which is just, for those of you who don't realize the energy, the toll that it takes on your body and energy, it's almost like running a marathon when you do one reading, never mind trying to incorporate doing hundreds and hundreds of readings a week. And then driving your kids to football.
Actually,
and cooking dinner.
You know, if my husband, I don't know if he's watching or not, but he would say, she doesn't drive them to football. I do the dinner thing. I drive them to school and pick them up. He actually does. He's a football coach, and he drives them to football. I go to the games, but he goes to the practices. So I have physically here, I have 3 boys. It was my middle child, or is my middle child. When I say it was, I don't mean that in past tense. He is still my child. I have been corrected on that. I mean it as in it was my middle child who has crossed. But I have a 15-year-old. Zachary is he would be 13, and then I have a 9-year-old, all boys. So they're busy boys.
Wow, busy, busy, busy. So now, what do they think of you doing this type of work?
Oh, they
don't know any different.
Yeah,
it's just life.
My youngest one, Nicholas, he opened when he was 4, so you know he loves it. He's done readings for bereaved parents. He does tarot card readings. He's super cute. He is a little old soul. And he'll tell me things that, the other day actually I had said to him, or I was just in the kitchen, and I said, there's such a breeze in here, I'm freezing, and I just couldn't get warm or something. And I hear him, he's playing Legos from the other room, and he goes, Mom, maybe you're doing too much. I'm like, what? He goes, maybe you're doing too much. I go, okay. He's actually a Reiki 1 too.
Is he?
Yeah. He
Wow.
got under 7, or yeah, 7 or 6.
That's a little inspiring, guys, if you're thinking about doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
Did it. And he's so funny. He makes his little symbols on his hands like perfectly, and he's so cute. So he's telling me that I must be doing too much. So I said, okay, meaning that I'm rushing so the wind is blowing and that I'm getting a chill. And then later on he said to me, you know, every day you should really wake up and ask yourself, how did he say it? And ask yourself, am I doing too much? Out of the mouth of a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay, thanks.
But you needed it. You needed to hear
You know
it.
what? He was right. He definitely was. And my oldest son just thinks it's really funny, you know, because I'll know things about him, even things I don't want to know, and you know, things that he's going to do, and I'll try to warn him not to do them, and he still does them. And I say, I just warned you. And
He's probably like, Ma, get off my case.
yeah, he's like, this isn't fair. I'm getting gypped here. This just isn't fair. And a lot of things will happen to him that, you know, he'll go, I just don't want anything to do with this. Like, it's fine if you do it, but I don't want anything to do with it. So.
But again, and I'm always telling people this too, it's so good to have a support group.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a support group that understands what it's like being receptive to so much energy.
Yeah, it is. I don't have any relationship with my mother at all. And so I always use that as such an encouragement with my boys and try to encourage them with if they choose to be open, choose to not, and, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I always
love
get so
them.
excited when I have guests on. Just so much to learn. Steph, how are we doing for questions? Anything
I have
going
a whole
on?
bunch.
Oh, okay.
Too many to count. Cutie Head had asked if you do a lot of work on the South Shore or the North Shore.
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Let's see, can't read my handwriting. Does Nicole always have an effect on electrical systems? If so, please elaborate on the most unusual one, please.
I would have to say the...
So actually tonight, which she warned us about.
One time I was doing a radio show, and their electricity went out twice, and they had a generator. There has been so many. The other thing is, I think this is a huge one, My truck, I have, at the time it was brand new when this all had started, so it's a 2007 Tahoe. And it has been in the shop 13 times. For electrical issues, my windows roll down, they roll up, my windshield wipers go on, the radio shuts off. Anything that you can imagine happens with this. So it's been in there 13 times, they cannot find anything. And now Chevy literally comes out to me and says, the only thing we can tell you is it's outside interference. Now they don't know anything that I do. And they tell me it's outside interference. And I'm like, really? Thank you.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there knows of anything that it could be, I'd be more than happy to know. Because it gets quite frustrating.
Does she know that her son is helping other children transition to the other side?
That's really bizarre that you just said that, because that is what I, you threw me off. That is what I have been saying, is I truly feel that he is helping other children, and he's also, someone had once used this metaphor with me, and I thought it was great. They take the airplane in, and my son must be on the airplane with these other children, and then, you know, they land and they get off at the airport and they go off to their other family members. And I know my son is going, I'll hook you up, you gotta just, you know, just go to my mom. Because somehow I keep getting connected with all of these bereaved parents, and there's a reason that we're getting connected.
Right.
And I think there's a
cool
lot
thing.
going on up there.
Oh, yeah.
What town is the stadium going to be built in?
Hudson, New Hampshire.
Sorry, I'm keep checking the chat room just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Does she get messages from deceased pets?
I don't want to say that I actually get messages. They typically will come through with loved ones that have crossed, but I don't communicate with them. So.
Did you find it hard to connect with your son Zach when he first passed?
Yes and no. I think that is what had happened was when he had passed, I went to go wake him for school. I went to go wake him before school. And when I went in there, he had already been gone for several hours. And after that scene of the morning, which was horrific, but after that scene, I remember not much. But what I do remember is saying to myself over and over again, I don't want to take anything, nobody's giving me anything. I was hypnotized, but other than that, because I had to meditate, I had to get myself grounded so I could connect. And he passed on March 8th, and the very first experience I had with him was on March 13th, and I thought it was crazy. So now I'm thinking, I'm losing my mind because I wanted it so bad. But Zachary knew what to tell me because it had nothing to do with me, it had to do with my husband. And I was so afraid to tell him. And I just journaled it, and I was like, waited, and finally, I have to tell you something, I think. He was like, what? And I actually took out my journal and just started reading it to him. So it's bittersweet. It was. It is.
That's awesome. I don't have any more right now. I probably will get in 5 minutes.
Wow. I mean, I can't even imagine. But how blessed do you feel knowing that he's constantly around you?
You know, my friend and I we had a long conversation today. We were talking about this, and a lot of people say that I'm lucky. I don't necessarily think of myself as lucky when it comes to Zachary, for the obvious reasons. But then I also don't communicate with him like most people think. It's not a telephone call. I don't get to just, hey, Zach, what's up? I don't get to hug him. You know, it never fills the empty chair at dinner. I'm still, now I'm making 2 sandwiches instead of 3. So I think it's more that it's a faith. That's what's really strong, is I know he's okay. There's no doubt in my mind, I know he's completely okay, but I still crave, just like every other parent, the tangibility of him being here, to hug and squeeze and squish his cheeks, and that's, you know, what we all miss. And it's so hard for us to, all of us, including myself, to not want the thing, you know, that tangibility in that what we can see versus what we can't see. So it's like very, very hard to separate the two and be able to grasp the other side. And it is for my own child. So I don't think I'm quite blessed like most people think. I literally have people coming up to me saying, you're so lucky. But it doesn't work that way for me.
It's common. A lot of people do it because they say it to me all the time, like, but you're just so lucky because you can talk to them still, but you still miss that physical aspect.
And I can't talk to Zachary.
You crave that physical aspect.
You do, because it's not the same, like the smells, the touch, the everything you don't have anymore. We are fortunate where we can connect, but at the same time, we're still human.
I would say the biggest benefit is I have a lot of mediums that are friends.
Right.
So I'm very fortunate in that respect.
Right.
I'm fortunate in the respect that I can, you know what, I connect with Zachary, but it's very far in between, and I feel that they shift and they become lighter as the time goes on. I sometimes look at my husband and I think I can help all of these parents and I can't help my own husband because I can't just, okay, Zach, come on, let's go, you know. And I look for signs just like every other parent. I'm looking for, you know, the number, you know, I'll ask him a question and I'm looking for a number or whatever it is. Like I'll get the feeling and the chills and I just know he's around. And so I'm just like everyone else when it comes to my child, you know.
Well, we always want that, even when we give readings, and I'm always saying it all the time. A lot of times Spirit will come through and they give validations, and it's the validations just to say, hey, even though I'm not here physically, I'm still here. But the validations are great, but we still just crave that physical aspect, that warm hug or that smile that you see of them.
And I think the biggest misconception is that I can read for myself. I can't. What am I going to tell myself? My birthday? I already know it. So if I hear something from Zachary, I don't trust it for me because I go,
is it
wait
memory
a minute.
Or is it?
Exactly. I go, am I thinking it? No, I must be crazy. Of course I want him to say I miss you or I love you. So it's not the same. So,
but dreams, does he visit you in dreams?
I don't recall. My dreams, I have had 2 visits from him in dreams that I know were visits in the very beginning. But I'm not a dreamer. I never have been. So.
Wow. Now, since you do help parents, do you see that they tend to come to you, or do you ever lend a hand out to them? Do you ever offer your services? Like, do you ever contact them before they were to contact you?
Certain parents, yes. If I'm getting, is what I actually find is if there's friends, you know, 2 moms that are friends, and I'll do a reading for one, and she'll never mention the other friend, and then another child will come through, and she'll say, I understand that, and I say, you know, I'll say I need to speak to that child's mom. Can you put me in contact with her? So yes. I will reach out anytime a child comes to me for a parent.
Wow.
I love the kids. I do. Like, you talk about that and I get all excited because I just love them. They're so vibrant.
Yes, that's what it is.
They are so vibrant and they're so energetic and they're literally like this, you know? And they get really, really excited and you know, you never, all of us worry about where our kids are. I have to say, I don't know about you, but have you ever had one spirit, any of them, ever come to you and say, I want to go back there? This place sucks. Like, never.
No.
I've never ever had anyone, and never a child.
And they've always been, especially when it comes to children, I've always encountered children that have been just so happy.
They are. They're
happy and just like a breeze of energy. That's what I always call it, because they, for some reason, and I don't know about you, but when children come through for me, they're always, especially the younger ones, they're always like waving at everyone's knees because I always feel the breeze. So I always ask them, like, do you feel
the pull?
You feel a pull?
Yeah,
I'm
like I feel like I'm
do you feel
getting
a breeze? I always feel it around the knees. I don't know about you, Steph, if you've ever encountered that before. Where
it's different for me because I can either physically see them.
I'm clairvoyant too.
Okay.
Yep.
So I was the odd one out for a while when I try to explain this to people. Like, no, I can really see them. Like they're about this tall, and so. But it's usually a lot shorter. I know what you're talking about. Either like the energy that you can feel either like it's as big as you are, or it's really, really small. So you can tell.
Now, does spirit always come through to you as, is it always clairvoyant for you? Because I've noticed through the years it's kind of changed. It's not like every single spirit.
For a while, it was all absolutely physical in front of me. I could see it. Now, because I've kind of like, I've accepted it a little bit more, I can see it in my mind's eye as well. And then depending on if they feel like it, I can see them physical. So I kind of gave them a choice now rather than just, okay, you're not going to pay attention to me, I'll show you, I'll show myself. So I can do both now, but I still see them sometimes completely physical, and then I can get more details.
Yeah.
Whether it's a split second or they're standing there in front of me for a while, I can still get more details now. So it does change. It kind of flip-flops back and forth. It's not definite. Yeah. But I say all the time, they're unpredictable anyways. So
there's no rhyme or reason.
Right.
That's true. But I almost feel like sometimes they know, once you learn to set your boundaries as a medium,
yes.
Because I always say that I would probably get startled if I was to see someone standing right in front of me.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
I always have that sense.
I mean, I was going to say, that's how I was.
Since I was little, since as far as I can remember being in my crib, that's all I know from seeing them. So it doesn't scare me anymore. Unless I'm obviously in an uncomfortable position, I turn around, something's looking at me, then it's different. But I can usually sense it ahead of time, and I'm prepared for it.
Or if I'm in a dark room, do you get,
yes.
yeah, I am terrified of the dark.
I hate the dark. I absolutely
I'm scared of the dark.
I still sleep with the nightlight.
Me too, but I feel like our eyes are constantly matrixing things too. Yep. So even if you have that one thought in your mind, it could easily matrix into something that may or may not.
But I'll actually be in bed, and I've had a child who I've just done a reading for, and I'm still seeing them, and they want to play hide and go seek. Like they keep going boo, boo, and they're trying to play, and I'm like, I do this, and actually one night a couple of weeks ago, my 9-year-old decides to come in my room. Well, he didn't wake us up, so he's just standing in my room and standing over me, and I'm sleeping, and I open my eyes and I'm like, so, and I was like, Nicholas, what are you doing? And he said, I can't sleep. And I said, okay, honey, go back to bed. And so he goes back into his room. Well, I don't know what he was doing. I must have went back to sleep. And then the next thing I know is somebody's walking in my room back and forth. So I have to do this.
Yes.
Because I don't know what I'm
I like
seeing.
it. I like her interpretation.
You like that?
Well,
wait, how do you do it? Oh, okay.
Because sometimes it's like if you blink, if it's your mind doing it, it goes away right away. But if you blink a few times and you still see it, you definitely know it's something standing there. Because I've done it a few times, and I'll sit up, and I made the mistake of putting this big, gorgeous mirror in my bedroom.
It's absolutely gorgeous. I have to say that. It's like
on this wall over here.
It's the size of this wall. This whole wall.
It's
huge.
I think it's 54 by 96, so it's huge, but I've never had a mirror before, so I'm like, oh, I'm going all out, this is it. And it fits right on the outer wall of my bedroom. So when I sit up in bed, I can see myself sit up in the mirror, and it completely freaks me out all the time, so I have to do the blinking thing and realize it's myself. But there's been a few times where I've looked over and it wasn't me, and my husband will immediately go, what'd you see? What was that? And I was like, shh, don't acknowledge it. I just want to go to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
See, I'm very quiet about it. So I'll just kind of, because it's usually kids at night. I'll do a reading, and they like to play.
They're just hanging around.
I have to go to sleep now.
Well, that's my problem. If I acknowledge it, it wants to talk. And it's just like, I just want to go to bed. I'll talk to you in the morning.
Well, one of the things that I've learned, because I have a problem with my husband, my husband will tell me that I talk all night in my sleep.
Yes.
Especially if I've just done a reading or, a show or something.
Right.
All night I talk in my sleep. Talk, talk, talk. So I really have to close down when I go to bed. I have to, literally, I picture a lotus on the top of my head. I have to shut it and make sure I'm shut down. And I ask him, what am I saying? He's like, I don't know, but you just go on and on and on and on. And can you record me? I want to know what I'm saying. Who am I talking to? And he's like, I'm trying to sleep. So... But that's a downfall of that.
We have a lot of questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I was busy talking too. And they're all about all different things. So we'll start with number 1, was when you give someone a Reiki treatment, how do they say it feels?
Everyone says it feels different. It's either warm or cold or tingly. Or some people feel it as kneading, like kneading dough.
Warm, tingling sensation.
Yeah. I always feel it as tingly in my hands. And when I receive it, I also feel it very tingly. But I leave for the cosmos when I get it. I just, phew. So it's all different feelings. It depends on what they're going to, feel.
Right. Do you feel Native Americans around you? And this is from Dusty Orb. I feel one of them is a shaman and is here to help you with your healing work, both with spirit and with us here on Earth.
I actually did a shaman course, and the woman teaching the course had said that. And I was kind of just taken back by it. And then somebody, a mutual friend of ours, had also told me that I had a guide. And that was an Indian, and there was a whole backstory to that. So I haven't connected with them as much, but I remember asking in the shaman class, I don't understand if I was meant to do this work as a healer, then why was I broken? And I remember her saying to me, and these are probably like, really important words that helped me, and this was after Zachary, and she said there's 2 ways that people become a shaman in the those days, like back in the day. It's either that your grandfather did from, your family, or you have suffered such a great tragic loss that you have to become a healer, and that's how they do it. So I said, okay, that's a good reason for me.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense. And just for you guys who are just tuning in right now, I have Necole Stephens on. She is a spirit medium and Reiki master, and she has a nonprofit organization called
the Zachary M. Tompkins Memorial Fund.
And she also does private readings and gallery-style readings called Angel Kisses. And she is out of New Hampshire. So continue on, Steph. Just wanted to remind everybody who's on.
Do you feel that Zachary had a higher purpose?
I do, but I don't know if I'm being biased. He had a disposition about him that was very, very unique. He didn't anger. He was very quiet and soft-spoken. Even his passing, the way it happened, I believe that him and I are connected for a reason. I believe in soul groups, and I believe that him and I are connected, and we're working together to help people.
Sorry, I keep losing every time somebody asks a new question.
In the chat room, it goes
back.
so quick.
Yeah.
So she's trying to keep.
That's okay.
I usually look like I don't know what I'm talking about. But it's
No, but
because I keep
it's
losing
hard
it.
to keep, especially, when there's a lot going on, which is good. Good. So how you doing? How's your energy?
Good.
Good, nice and relaxed.
Yeah, now
I fed her some munchkins before the show to ground her a little bit.
Munchkins are good. Now that you started talking, it moved again.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's just what it's going to keep doing. They said that they see you writing a book. Is it in the works yet?
Yes, it's been in the works for a while. Yes. And hopefully it's done by the end of the year. I just need to... There's only so many hours in a day. Does anyone ghostwrite? No pun intended.
Oops. Do Nicole's other children ask for readings?
No.
When will her book be released?
As soon as I finish it.
After the stadium.
No. Actually, the stadium will be further, I'm sure.
You never know.
I'm hoping. No. Don't say that.
It could happen at the same time.
I know the stadium, we're talking a 5-year plan. I'm realistic about it. I feel my book probably by the end of the year.
And both are amazing, amazing accomplishments. So
Thank you.
good luck to you for both.
Thanks.
Are there people you sense around you that you never have known and or have no connection to who are around at random?
Not really.
So it's usually the children that you bring through.
No, even if it were your grandfather, if I'm in the other room, say I hadn't seen you or anything and I was on my way here and I'm connecting with your grandfather, then, and I'll kind of, just be sitting
Why
here.
is my grandfather coming through right now?
Well, so then I'll just know it went to you. Do you know what I mean? But I don't typically just have random, I don't have just energies lingering around my house. Tom just walked by.
Hey, Billy, don't forget to shut the door. Yeah.
No, then they do.
I know.
What does she think about ectoplasm?
I wouldn't want it on me.
I always just think of Ghostbusters when
I know, right?
That's all.
I don't have any experience with it, and it's probably because I'm a clean freak. I just, ugh.
When I first experienced what I was told, or how I learned what ectoplasm was, it feels like walking into a spider web.
I just...
Because it happened to me a few times, and
Really?
I'd be swatting like the imaginary fly, like awful, like screaming, thinking that there's a spider web stuck to my face. And from what I learned was it's just when spirit gets too close, or gets to the point where it's like practically on top of you or walking through you, and it feels like a spider web. And the more that, like, once I had the understanding, it was just kind of like, ugh, like, thank God it's not a real spider, like, because that's my worst feeling in the whole entire world, is having a spider in my hair or something. But that it's not bad. It's just creepy.
Yeah, creepy. I just
Different.
Right.
yeah, it's different than I've had, you know. I've
grew up in
had spirit pretty close to me.
A really old house, so I don't know if it has to do with more of a crossed over spirit or like an earthbound. I haven't really, I don't know, made the difference between the two of them, but my house was built in 1792, so there's a lot going on.
I have a question
Always.
for you, because you just brought up earthbound and crossed over spirits. Do you do any crossing over?
I actually, yes, I do. I sometimes a cancer patient or someone who's terminal, they'll call and they'll ask for a reading prior, just to kind of know who's over there waiting, to guide them and to greet them. And it is the most emotional, beautiful experience. That all of our work is so
it's amazing.
I just go, oh my goodness, like all the time. I'm
then
like a little kid.
You go home and try to tell somebody, and they're like, wow, that's
Really?
cool.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't even know. There were vibrant colors and rainbows, and her mom was there, and it was just so intense, and it's so, you can just feel the energy in you, and just the love.
It's an amazing feeling.
It is.
It is.
And I get so excited still all the time.
I wish the
do
regulars.
every
I always
single
call
time.
them the regulars. Like,
Yeah, normal humans.
like even people even people that I work with, like on a day-to-day basis, it's the same thing. Like, I just want them to realize, like, do you know how much energy I put out throughout the day? And
Well, my husband, he's an elevator mechanic, and of course, he works so hard, and I know he really does. And I'll say, I worked all day today, and he's like, you were on the phone? And I'm like, do you have any idea what it is like to do? He's like, okay, your work's always harder than mine.
that's why I always say we need a little round table, a support
I
group,
know.
because it's one of those things where, I mean, you know what? We don't work on elevators, so we don't know how tough it is sometimes, So it's the same for us too. Like, a lot of people don't work on dealing with people that have passed, and comforting and going through all of these emotions and energies and seeing all these things in front of us that not every person gets to see, and it's a lot. It's huge.
It is, but isn't it just so amazing?
It is. It's absolutely
It's
amazing,
so-
and I would never change
wouldn't.
anything.
Well, I would change some things, but I would never change doing this work ever.
And that's why, like, even Steph said too, when you said you do it full time, like, you're so, it's amazing that you're able, amazing is the replacement word for but it is, it's truly amazing that you can actually be able to do that for your full-time career. And Steph and I
We're working on it.
Yeah.
But we say all the time, it just makes us so happy that part of our lives. We both have regular 9-to-5 jobs, and that part, when we get together and we just talk about that, it just makes you feel like this is your path, this is your passion, this is what we love to do, it's what we're meant to do. And not many people wake up every day thinking this is what I'm meant to do. So it's so awesome that you get to do it every day.
Exactly. When you're living your passion, you know that there's no other. I remember at one point in my life, someone had questioned me. A couple of people have questioned me, like, why do you do this? Why do you? And they get upset. But and I stopped and I said, you know what? Like, this is what I have never been more sure in my life on the road that I'm supposed to be on than right now.
Right.
And I can't drop it. I can't just ignore it and say, all right, time to get to bookkeeping. It's just something that I can't do, and I'm sure that's the same for you guys too. Do we do the bookkeeping to pay the bills? Yeah. Well, you don't, but we do for the time being. But this is all just temporary for us, and we're aware of it.
The other night I had a reading, and I had a very, very bad migraine, and I hadn't gotten one in a very long time, and I typically connect before I even make the call or go out, whatever I'm doing, I typically connect first. And I wasn't connecting I thought I was in a panic attack because I just kept going, oh no, I lost it. Oh no, it's gone. Oh my gosh, I called my friends. I lost it. I have a migraine and I can't connect, and I was not going to cancel on a bereaved parent because I know they've waited a year for this, appointment, and I just couldn't cancel on her, and I was just going to push through it. And I'm like, I lost it, and she's like, Nicole, people try to shut this off all their lives. You have a migraine. She's like, you didn't just lose it. I'm like, yes, I did. I lost it. What am I going to do? She's like, you didn't lose it. You're fine. And then I finally got a grip, and it was an awesome reading. It was amazing. But I was really panicking.
You do.
I was like, oh my God, it's gone.
Well, the first time someone says no, you're like, oh, no? What do you mean no? But you learn from experience, and you learn to talking to your peers.
It's true. The one thing about this that we have no control over it. You can have good days and bad days, and I'm not here to convince anyone.
Absolutely.
I'm the messenger, and you're going to do whatever you want with that information.
I do, since we are limited with time, we only have a couple minutes left. And for all of you all of those who we didn't get to your questions, please, you can contact Nicole at your website, Nicole.
www.
Oh, good, it's up. I wasn't sure if we were going to put it on the screen.
NicoleStephens.com. And you can feel free to email me questions. I don't have any problem. Or go to my Facebook and ask questions there. I also have My Thoughts Friday, and it's all about people's questions. Whatever you want to ask a medium. It's not about readings. I just want to specify that. So, it's not readings.
I know.
But you can ask any question.
And also, you guys can always contact me at on Facebook, Spirit Medium Tiffany, and that's where I post all my events and info, and I can give you all the information about Nicole, or you can go to my email me at tiffcat3@gmail.com. That's tiffcat3@gmail.com. Any upcoming events that people can still maybe go to a gallery reading and see what you do? Anything that's not sold out?
No, I actually have one in March coming up. That's actually a fundraiser for Zachary, so all the proceeds are going to Zachary. It's March 18th. It's in Nashua at the Crown Plaza Hotel. And then I have one coming up in Philadelphia. So if you check my website, my events page, that's where it'll all be updated. And it has all open events. There are a lot open.
I was scrolling and I'm like, sold out, sold out, sold out. And I'm like, guess I can't go. No.
You can come.
I know. But I do want to wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much for being on Spirit Connections. And you're always welcome back.
Thank you.
And until next time, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. We'll see who the next guest is. But until next time, have a good night, and I will see you next week.